So hello, I'm Thais. I'm going to talk about the concept of intelligence and how it might affect us. So the agenda, what is intelligence, theories of intelligence, and how it may affect us, as I said. So what is intelligence? Want to give a try?
Yeah. What is it?
Why do you think it's intelligence?
Creativity.
Okay, fair enough. So here are other options. No, this is a fair definition. There are others too, and very different. They're different. For instance, the ability to carry out abstract thinking, which is similar. Intelligence is what you do when you don't know what to do. The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. So you can see several possibilities of definition. And in the end, there is no final definition on what is intelligence. So here are some theories that I researched. So for instance, the psychometric theories, they back in the beginning of the century, they started to measure what would be intelligent by mental tests. So what you can measure would be intelligence. The cognitive theories would understand the process regarding intelligence, try to understand the process. The cognitive contextual theories, we're going to talk about two of them. Besides that, the question of the process, they also consider the context in what you are inserted in. So for instance, a definition of intelligence may vary from one culture to another, and a difference between real life and academic performance. There's a gap in there when we are measuring intelligence through an academic test. For instance, emotional intelligence, pretty much all of us have heard about that. And biology theories, so they try to really understand how it works, the brain. So what is exactly in the biologic-based intelligence for them. So these two theories I'm going to talk about are in that field that I talked, the cognitive contextual theories. And Gardner's research, he was the first one to give a more broader understanding of intelligence. So although all of us, when we think about intelligence, generally we would think about the logical, mathematical, and the linguistic one. If someone speaks well, has a great vocabulary, they would assume that this person is intelligent. He assumes that there are other kinds of intelligence, like the existential one. If someone really understands the meaning of life or is looking for this answer, or interpersonal, how well we interact with other people, interpersonal, how well we interact, like how do you know yourself, how well you know yourself, and body kinesthetic, how you coordinate your body to dance or to play soccer, for instance. Another theory would be from Sternberg. So he says there are these three pillars of intelligence. An internal one would be what is in yourself, so your representation of reality, your cognitive process, so internal. An external one would be how do you apply this process in the external world, so something more practical. And the third one would be the integration of the two, the internal and the external one, and how do you interact with your experience. So it's related with creativity. And these three, genius. So what he says is that intelligent people know their strength and know their weakness, and then they find this niche in when they can operate more efficiently. So recently, the researchers are considering that adaptation is a key word to understand intelligence, what it is and how it does. How well do you adapt in a different context, for instance, in a different culture? This would be related to intelligence. So as we saw, we came from a more narrow understanding of what is intelligent to a more broader perspective. But although we still think of intelligence, most of us, as a mathematical and a linguistic way, right? We all would assume someone smart would have this two kind of intelligence. So why do we think like that? Probably because our whole lives we have been taking these tests like SAT, GRE. We took a GMAT to be accepted here, right? Who likes GMAT? And we see this is very good to check your ability in postgraduate training, in college, but this is really measured all these other aspects regarding intelligence. So for instance, this survey found out that there is no correlation between a great grade in GMAT and success in life. So for you guys over 700, I'm so sorry, just kidding. So in general, we all want to be perceived like that personal brand thing as smart people, right? We all want to be perceived as that. We all want to work with smart people. We all want to be surrounded by smart people. So if you fit in the box and if you have the right opportunities, what do you think that you still want to work with these smart people? So reinforce the cycle, in general, of course. But if you don't fit in the box of this narrow view of intelligence, then maybe you don't believe in yourself, and self-esteem has a lot of correlations with perception of intelligence. So when you do a test and you are not very confident, then you can be very bad in this exam. And if you're feeling confident, then you could do well. They did some research on that. And you still think that you can only learn from the so-called smart people. So again, you reinforce the cycle. So there's some sort of problem here, but okay. So my path to understand a broader view of intelligence was quite interesting because I was raised in a family of engineers. And actually, after I became an engineer, and also my brother became an engineer, so it's a very rational mindset, as you guys can see. In school, it was fine and nice because I studied in an experimental school, so I got in contact with different types of intelligence. For instance, I had this biology teacher, and he would do this crazy exams with us. For instance, instead of asking, oh, what is biological structure is this? How does it work? He would do like this. Look, this is the real structure. But what if the structure was like this? How would you conduct an experiment to achieve this structure? He would ask this kind of things. So I'm just saying, like, they were concerned with other sort of intelligence back at my school. But even though I decided to do an engineer graduation and also a master in engineering. So when I started to do therapy, it was very funny because my therapist often asked me, do you want me to draw the formula in the board? Because my mindset was so rational that it was hard for me to understand that there's no answer key for life. There's not only one right answer, you know? And this is really related with this narrow view of intelligence. So in my career, I read in marketing innovation. I have known several very smart different people with different types of intelligence. And this is very, very important for me to understand that it's much more than the traditional view on that. And for instance, I started to attending short story and photography class, discovering this other intelligence that all of us have. You just have to work on that. So my final slide would be like intelligence might be measured by placing people in an unfamiliar culture and assessing their ability to cope with the new situation. I found this definition. And so nice, right? Because this is exactly what we're doing here. Most of us, right? And even the ones that are from UK are interacting with people from other culture. And this is what is intelligence all about. So you learn every day with everyone and every experience. So we should try to avoid that label that we put in people saying, oh, smart, no smart. Because it's not like that. It's much more complex than that. And give also ourselves this opportunity to try different things, to learn different things, besides business school, to do different things, and increase our intelligence. So just to say that I do think we should embrace this year that we still have here in the MBA and people from the master also, to know these people with this different kind of intelligence cultures that surround us. And that's it. Thank you.